Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Fuse here, and welcome back to another movie review. And today I'm going to be doing another part of my Equalizer reviews leading up to Equalizer 3. And this time I'm going to be reviewing the Equalizer 2. So the Equalizer 2 is the second installment in the Equalizer trilogy and came out in the year 2018 and is directed once again by Anthony Fuqua, and it stars Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, Melissa Leo, Ashton Sanders, Bill Pullman, Orson Bean, Tessa, and others. And so basically the Equalizer 2 tells the story of intelligence agency operative named Robert McCall. Once again, he retired. He retires again, and now he when now he is an Uber driver. Uber driver. But then one day, his wife, Melissa Leo, no, not his wife. Sorry, his friend, played by Melissa Leo, gets murdered, and so Robert must go back once again to the world and go back in the world of being what he's best known for, to be able to track down Melissa, track down the killer and go on a vengeance. So that's basically it. So now as for my thoughts on the first Equalizer film, now if you saw my review, you probably know that I praised the film to death, and I called it one of Denzel Washington's best films, and yeah, it actually still holds up to this day. Yeah, that movie still aged well. I absolutely love the Equalizer. I love it for the story. I mean, the characters. I mean, Denzel Washington's gives his best performance in an action movie. Robert is probably one of the most badass, if not the most badass Denzel Washington roles, and yes, it may be too long, but I absolutely love this story, and I also love seeing both Chloe Grace Moretz and David Harbour, aka my favorite actor, in that film too, and yeah, so. The Equalizer 2 had a lot to live up to in order to be better than the first film. Oh yeah, there is actually one thing I forgot to mention in my initial review of Equalizer 1. It was the style. In the action scene, you may notice this very unique style that makes it stand out from other action movies. Yeah, this very unique style. It's hard to describe, but it kind of goes like slow-mo, and it makes you feel that Robert is able to sense something is coming to him. Almost similar to like the Spidey sense, but more realistic. And yeah, that's actually one of the more unique things about the Equalizer, which makes it stand out from other action movies. And yeah, The Equalizer 2 had a lot to live up to the first film. In fact, I was actually excited for this film. Ever since I saw the trailer back then, honestly, I don't remember if I saw this movie in cinemas or not. I don't remember if I saw this in cinemas, but I did make a Letterboxd list of all the movies I saw in theaters, so you can go check it out and see if I actually saw this film in theaters. Or maybe I'll check, and then I'll let you know down in the comments if I saw this in theaters or not. But yeah, that trailer looked really good. It looked like it was gonna have more action than the first film, and it looks like it's gonna be even bigger and more intense. And it looks like it looked like it was going to be non-stop action from start to finish. Well, minus the minor Uber scenes. And then they actually got pretty mixed, below average reviews. People. With the divisive reviews, some say this sequel's underrated, while others calling it underwhelming. And I'll admit, when I saw this movie for the first time, I actually enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed this movie as a guilty pleasure. Guilty pleasure, I was like, okay, it's actually I enjoyed it. But then my thoughts on this film just kept declining, and now I find this to be an underwhelming movie. But then I rewatched this movie on Hulu yesterday, and yes, this movie is on Hulu, by the way. I'm not sure the first movie's on Hulu, I think, but oh yeah, I think I have to buy it for rent though. But yeah, now I think Equalizer 2 is a bad movie. Yeah, it like a below average, not a below average movie like what I thought. Yeah, I think it's a pretty bad movie. Now as you can see, yes, I did not title this a rant video. A rant video because I don't think this movie deserves to be rant. Yeah, I only give movies a rant if it's 1.5 stars or lower. But yeah, I think you can probably already guess my rating at the end when I just by saying that and the fact that this is entitled a rant. But yeah, this is gonna be a mini rant because boy, this movie just frustrates me. And come on, and Denzel Washington and Anthony Fuqua. I mean, you're so much better than that. I mean, you're better than this, man. What happened? Like, yeah, sure. They may not be like one of the best in the industry. They don't make. I'm not passionate about any of these movies, but I'm not passionate about any of these movies. But at least they make solid films most of the time. But they don't make mediocre products like this one. And yeah, as far as Anthony Fuqua movies go, I will admit that there was one bad movie he does to me, and that is Olympus Has Fallen. So yeah, I think the Has Fallen trilogy is just garbage. It's just a bad trilogy, like bad trilogy overall, and. Yeah, it's such a bad trilogy. I don't like that Has Fallen trilogy. Olympus is like, don't get me wrong. It's better than London and especially Angel Has Fallen. Ugh, like those sequels. But I think Olympus Has Fallen is to me the worst Anthony Fuqua movie. But Equalizer 2 is my second worst Anthony Fuqua movie because yeah, that's how underwhelming it is. So. But are there any good things to say about this movie? Are there any good things about this movie? Yes, actually, there are some things I really like about this movie. I really enjoyed. Yeah, I'll say this. I really enjoyed the third act of this movie. The final 30 minutes of it. With all where all the big stuff is. Like the final battle is the final battle stole the show in this. The final battle carried the entire film to me. Like that final battle was actually awesome, and I tell you, that's an even better final battle than in the first film. Yeah, I love the idea of the final battle taking place in the ocean shore, where you see heavy wind and ocean coming in, and you got some fun included. I love that set piece because it actually brings in the suspense because the Robert and the villains are Robert and the villains can't really see each other well because they're all covered, so it's really hard for them to get a clear vision and a clear sight, and then we see just Robert coming out from the shadows and hiding amongst the wind and coming out of the shadows, just beating the living crap out of them and then we see this final battle between Robert and Dave. We'll talk about him in a while. The Dave fighting in the tower, and then Robert just throws Dave off. Yeah, that is actually an awesome final battle. Yeah, let's see how Equalizer 3's final battle can compare to that, because yeah, that final battle was just epic. I love that third act. And even the scenes before the final battle, some scenes are really good. Like there's a scene where Dave and his henchmen are trying to are in Robert's house, and they're trying to find Robert, but then they know that someone is hiding. Oh man, that is such a suspenseful scene. That is such a suspenseful moment there, because there's actually a kid. I forgot his name, but he's played by Ashton Sanders. I don't even remember his name. But yeah, they were searching in his house, trying to find Robert. But then the guy was hiding, and then Robert telling him what to do, and then you really got worried about him. Yeah. even though I didn't care about any of these characters in the scene, I'll admit that was a very suspenseful scene, and I actually got worried for him. I don't know why, because I'm not a fan of that kid. I think he's. I'll talk about more about him later. And Denzel Washington easily carried the film. Denzel Washington, he honestly now, while I wouldn't call him one of my favorite actors, he certainly has not given a bad performance. In fact, he's actually in my top now. He's in my top 20 favorite actors, or at least like maybe near 30s. But like, yeah, there are far superior actors to Denzel Washington. But I mean, this is his weekend performance, and it's still good. Maybe I'd still be open for a bad Denzel Washington performance, but Denzel Washington, yeah, he does carry this movie. He easily is the standout of the film. Okay, but that's all for the good things about this film. Now let's get into the things that really disappointed me about this movie. Where do I even get started with this? With the disappointments? Now, one thing I noticed about these Denzel Washington movies is the slow pace. He makes these action drama movies. Like his action movies always include drama, and therefore it will like have a bit of a slow pace to it. But at least with films like the first Equalizer movie and Man on Fire and some of his other great action movies, their pacing is slow, but at least they have. I mean, no, how do I say this? Yeah, they have slow pacing, but at least they're engaging. Yeah, the story is engaging from start to finish, and you actually care about what's going on. And even though like there isn't a lot of action, the movie is still. Their movies are entertaining. That's why the first Equalizer movie was amazing, because it actually is entertaining despite having a lack of action, slow pace, and even a long runtime. The Equalizer 2, on the other hand, I'm sorry, but this movie is incredibly boring and slow paced. Yeah, this has probably one of the worst action movie pacing I have ever seen. Because my god, this movie is so slow. Like Jeebus. Like the Jeebus. It's just yeah, it's too slow. This movie, like at least Equalizer was never boring. This movie was just boring from start to finish. And this movie isn't slow just to tell a compelling story. It's slow just for the sake of being slow, because it thinks it wants to. It tries to be as good as the first one, but actually it's not. It's not. Now I will give this movie credit. It did try to be better than the first one, or maybe even be on par. Even if that was not the case for this movie. That was not the case. Yeah, it is that slow. And not to mention, the plot doesn't even. I mean, there's no plot in the first act or the first act of the movie. The plot starts like halfway through the movie. Where when Melissa Leo's character dies and Robert. You may think that the plot already starts there, but no, it just starts like a few more moments after that scene. The movie, the first two acts focuses on two things: Robert being an Uber driver, and him hanging out with his friends slash neighbors and yada yada yada. Yeah, first of all, Robert being an Uber driver, do we really need to see that? I mean, we could just show 10 minutes of that and just go on with the plot, but the movie's so obsessed with just telling us, oh, Robert is an Uber driver. Yeah. The movie's cares so much about that that it just feels unfocused. And Robert being an Uber driver, who cares? This is not a movie about an Uber driver, so why do we need to? Why do we need to see that? It doesn't matter. And Robert's and neighbors in this movie, good God, they're boring. Why is the movie focusing so much on them? I did not care about crap about those neighbors. They're boring characters. And even though that kid played by Ashton Sanders, I got worried for his character. That doesn't mean he's a good character, because I don't even know his name. I don't even know anything about any information about him. So why do I care about these neighbors? Like they shouldn't be the focus. The focus should be on Denzel Washington and some of the other characters. Maybe Pedro Pascal. And speaking of Pedro Pascal, boy was he such a waste in this movie. He doesn't do like I love Pedro Pascal, especially in the Last of Us as Joel. Like he's perfect as Joel to me, and I defend him as Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman 1984. And if you're looking for a good villain played by Pedro Pascal, yeah, Maxwell Lord from Wonder Woman 1984. That's the thing. And by the way, I still defend Wonder Woman 1984. I will review that film in December. But yeah, yeah, and but him here in this movie, he's such a waste of a villain. Yeah, I would say that Pedro Pascal did try his best. I mean, he did try his best, but his character was confusing. In fact, I used to love Pedro Pascal's villain character. I thought that I thought he's such a great villain, and I even called him the best Equalizer villain. But yeah, he did not. His character did not age well. Yeah, I only liked him at the time just because he was played by a popular actor. Like unlike the first one where he wasn't played by, but where he was played by an unknown actor, but or at least an actor I personally don't know, but at least he that at least that at least the villain in the first one felt engaging, and he has every quality a movie villain should be. In this one, yeah, basically Pedro Pascal's character was a twist villain, which I heard some people say that they saw it coming from a mile away. Uh, I personally did not see it coming, but at the same time, that's kind of the problem because it came out of nowhere, and his character motivation, like the reason as to why he killed Melissa Leo's character, yeah, like his villain motivation is so empty. Like he's only be like, I understand some villains are not having motivation, but if you have, but a motivation is required for a twist villain. Like, if you're like a straight villain, then it's okay to not have motivations. But twist villains need motivation. So, I mean, but his motivation is so unclear. Like, why did he kill Melissa Leo's character? Why did he betray Robert? Why did he kill more people? Why does he want to kill people that Robert loves? Yeah, they don't even explain. And it's just so confusing. And even the reveal scene, like, I mean, the reveal scene, like, you're just like, what? Like, so it was basically revealed in the Dave's house. And by the way, I feel bad for Dave's family for having a crappy father. Yeah, I feel bad for him that they don't even know that Dave is a bad guy. Yeah, I feel bad for his family. He has such a sweet family, but then Dave is actually evil. That's sad, honestly. But yeah, back on topic with this scene. Yeah, I mean, the reveal scene basically was a reveal that like through like just a phone ringing, and then he just found out that he killed Basileo. Like, how did he find out? Well, I don't know because the movie just clearly doesn't know. It's just doing things out of nowhere. Like the movie like has no clear vision. And yeah, and as for the story itself, yeah, despite what I said about the yeah, like the movie does have a very simple premise about Robert just trying to find out who killed his partner played by Melissa Leo, but the execution, the way the story was executed, it's so confusing. Like I don't like like coming up from such a simple premise. I even had to Google search the plot before making this review. That's how confusing. It was because like it's yeah oh anyway, yeah, screw this. You know what? Yeah, I'm done with it. I'm done talking. Yeah. So overall, The Equalizer 2 is such an underwhelming sequel, and it's probably my second most disappointing movie of 2018. only to solo a Star Wars story. While the movie does have an enjoyable third act and great action scenes, oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention the action scene in the penthouse in the first 20 minutes. Great action scene. And I love how the movie was able to maintain what made the action in the first film so special. But the movie, all in all, is incredibly boring and slow because it doesn't understand that the impact that slow films can make. It doesn't understand that slow films can be entertaining. The movie is only slow just for the sake of being slow because it thinks that it's gonna be good if it's slow when it doesn't have a clear understanding. The villain is wasted. The villain's a waste. It focuses on the wrong things, and I just didn't care overall about any of the characters except Robert. So with that said, I'm gonna give the Equalizer to 2 stars out of 5. Yep, pretty bad movie. So that's all for my review of the Equalizer 2. What is your opinion of this movie? Do you agree with me that this movie is underwhelming, or do you enjoy this movie like some people? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my review on the Equalizer 3, which I am seeing in theaters later today. So yeah, bye guys.